The story of Wendy Williams is a tragic one. And when I say tragic, I mean an absolutely tragic one. How she got here, what caused it, who was behind it, all unknown. But recently she was spotted leaving a vehicle with her niece, and they stopped her to ask her a few questions. And the interview went, well, as much as you would expect, kind of a little bit awkward, a little weird. And it seemed like the niece was speaking mostly on her behalf. And then when Wendy chimed in, it just went a little bit, I can't say off the rails, but she was not very coherent in why she was there, what she was doing, or even what her purpose is. And what we're going to be covering this for is to try and see exactly what may have led to this position. What did she do? Who did she cross? Did she cross somebody? Or is this just all part of her life living? And this is just the way things are. So we'll react first to the interview, what they're saying. And I think most of what they're talking about is the conservatorship that they have over her, and who has rights over her entities and all that stuff. So let's listen to what they have to say. I would say she does look a lot better than the videos we've seen before. Might be makeup though, might be all it is.
What happened at the hospital?
We want to talk. Hi.
What happened at the hospital? Are you okay?
We want to talk.
Are you okay?
This is my niece, Alex.
Okay. How do you feel about the Free Wendy movement?
How do you feel about it? Fabulous.
I don't understand that part right there. I'm pretty sure she heard the question, but it was almost like she couldn't process the question until she heard it from somebody she trusts. I have to wonder if there is something not just sickness related, but I'm going to say it, conspiracy theory, frequency related, that's keeping her the way she is. And she can't respond to certain things unless a certain voice, a certain inflection is done. Or she has to look somebody that she trusts in the eyes for things to engage. I don't know, but it seems weird that you would get the questions asked of you and then have to turn to your niece and she ask it again, and then the response is what it was. The other thing I noticed is that her facial features resembles a lot like what MJ looked like before he died. Like a bunch of plastic surgery had been done to her, or the makeup itself is making it seem that way.
Fabulous.
So our recent events have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Talk about
We came back from dinner, and apparently police were called. But I was told that at some point police were called because the coterie here was saying allegedly that I took my aunt from this facility and whisked her away without any sort of confirmation or approval.
Now I want this woman's an adult. Okay, an adult. They have no provable things that said this woman is incapable of making basic decisions. They don't have any, I have yet to see them come forward with any proof that this woman is completely mentally gone, that she cannot make life choices. So your niece shows up to take her somewhere, and the police are called because they say we didn't get any permission given to her to take Wendy from the facility. I will tell you now, I would hate to have to live my life where this is the way things go for me on a daily basis. If I have to run all of the things I do through somebody else, knowing full well I might be completely lucid and coherent in my decision making. And look, I understand that at some point she looks like she does not understand what is going on, but this particular, I'm just going out to eat, is a problem now? What are you afraid that she's going to do? Like who? Okay, someone's just going to kidnap her for what purpose? Somebody else is controlling her money. So what is kidnapping her going to do for you? I don't understand what the logic is behind they're keeping her like this. The only thing I can come up with is that it's doing it as a power trip to keep her under wraps. And I'm thinking that she might be heavily medicated too in order to keep her acting a certain way to perpetrate the idea that she is mentally gone.
Which according to everything that we have learned in terms of this whole situation, wondering exactly how that correlates with the statements that the Guardian has made, that Wendy is able to come and go as she pleases.
So if the Guardian is saying, yes, she can come and go as she pleases, which means she's capable, why would the police call? The only thing I can think of is that it's trying to be an intimidation factor to try and scare her off of her decision-making processes, and thereby prove that she cannot self-sustain. Like I said at the beginning, she looks a little bit better. If I remember correctly, her lying on a chair during an interview, and she was looking completely, and I mean, gone. Even the last interview she did where people were laughing, I think it was TMZ was laughing at her. She was completely in a different, like off her rocker, gone. That's not the Wendy Williams we're seeing here now. Maybe she's kind of climbing out of it, and this is their attempt to try and bring her right back under control. For what purpose? Man, that's anyone's guess at this point.
Right.
And that there are no family visits that are blocked.
Clearly, they are lying to me when they say I can go out and do what I want to do. This is my niece, Alex. She just flew in from Miami, okay? I just came from the hospital. So we are going out to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Celebrate what? I don't know. I'm
Just
from
life.
the hospital. You know what I'm saying? And of life.
There's that I thing again. If you had a loved one, okay, and loved one, I say, because that's what they say, that they're doing this because they care about Wendy. That's what they say. If you care about her, wouldn't you try to facilitate a way for her to be more independent, as opposed to telling her she was not capable of anything and keep her homebound? Wouldn't the emphasis would be to try to get her back on her feet, not to keep her off of them? She has enough money, I would think, to get looked at for the edema in her feet. She has enough money to at least be treated certain, but for some reason, the guardianships that are over her don't seem to want to fix anything that's going on. They just wanted to continue to keep her in that position. That's the only thing I can think of, because if you're going to be arguing with the fact that her niece came to pick her up just to go to dinner, it must mean that she's having too much control and we need to get that back. We can't afford to have her going out in the public. Why not? Are you afraid of what she might tell somebody?
Right.
And this is what has been done to us.
Okay.
We're good. We're back.
We're good.
We're back on
Guardian.
one piece.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I'm going to say this. That is a very sad way to see Wendy go. If this is what we last see of her, and we don't know who she upset. We got two people that we can call that maybe the reason for it, or at least the catalyst for where she's at now. The two people we believe might be at least partially to blame. Can't say that's all them. That would be Oprah and Diddy. If you remember correctly, the whole incident with Diddy coming there and having her blacklisted on certain places, you remember that was a big debacle for her. And then Oprah not liking the fact that she was becoming a more loud voice of daytime TV. And then that all got relegated to the back once Oprah took over. So did she upset those two people by something she was doing? Did she know more? Was she trying? And we had said this before. Was she one of the few that was trying to bring attention to the African-American life that was going on here in the United States and finding a solution to it, as opposed to people using it as a plight to keep people there and never make it out? It almost seems like she was one of the first few to expose certain things going on. And when I say expose, I mean really show the nitty-gritty, the down to the minute details of what was going on to keep certain people in certain positions. Once she started doing that, all hell broke loose for her. It was almost as though that was the catalyst, because the people that were really at the time, the forefront of the Black voice, really never lived anything close to Black living. And what do I mean by that? It might sound like I'm being, a weird way of saying it, but the African-American lifestyle here, in whatever culture you want to call it, whether it be in the suburbs or in the projects, it doesn't matter. If you are not about trying to make everybody be lifted up, you must be about the opposite, bringing them down. Oprah hasn't done anything to bring anybody up. Wendy was talking about the things that kept people bound, including the life of the celebrity when they did get there, and what they were doing to try and keep Black America down. She was one of the first voices. And as soon as she started talking, the odd thing about it, she got removed from certain spaces, and then that Statue of Liberty thing happened. And from that moment on, everything seemed to be going against her. And now we're at this place where She is just a shell, a husk of her former self. Almost like she's not really there. It's like it's just a vacuum, and she just has remnants, traces of what Wendy Williams was. We genuinely believe that these two individuals either played a hand, were the instigators at minimum in what happened to her. They, meanwhile, took off. Their careers through the roof, but not hers, and not what she was trying to do. She was one of the first few to actually talk to people to try and get to the bottom of things, including people like Whitney Houston. It was just interesting to us to see the demise of Wendy Williams, and we don't believe this was by her doing. This is not Wendy just being callous about her own life. We do not believe that this is all a physical illness or just a break in the brain. This is not that. It almost feels foisted upon her by outside entities that really, really, really couldn't stand her. She was doing something that they wanted to keep intact. She was trying to break up something, get rid of something that brought the people that we're talking about money. Because if I can keep somebody in a location and make songs about it, keep somebody in a location and talk about it constantly and harp on what is going on, but never harp on the solution, I could make some mad money, which is exactly what Oprah and Diddy did. For all we know, we have many other hands in the pot that we don't even know about. But now we're here, and Wendy is walking through this earth unaware of really what's going on with her. They tell her one thing and they behave another. And the people who are closest to her, the perpetrators of it. The question is, how much did they get paid to do this? What were they guaranteed to have her remain in this stupor? It is a very sad state of affairs what she's going through. I don't care whether or not you believe that she was a gossiper or all that stuff. The question is, did she deserve this? Of all the people that you can think of that were daytime talk show hosts, did she deserve that? But if you think this is just part of life and it's just a illness that has betaken her and it's not anybody at the helm of it, she's just losing her marbles, and I guess you won't see anything bad with it. But if she is losing her marbles, how can you justify the way her family is treating her instead of trying to get her help? They keep her sequestered. They don't actually treat the problem. They just use the problem as a reason to keep her away from public light. I don't remember that ever being a solve for someone going through some mental crisis. The Wendy Williams saga is not done yet. We may see some relief for her soon, or not at all. Only time will tell that. But whatever your thoughts are on the Wendy Williams case, please leave it below. If you think that she was a target, or is this just another one of those things that life happens to people and she got sick and it's just what it is? Let me know in the comments below.
Training athletes, build leaders, changing communities. At Mentors for Life, sponsored by the Bully Me Bad Project, we provide free professional sports training and mentorship to youth with passion, drive, and the desire to grow. We connect them with top-tier coaching and leadership tools that unlock their full potential. Our athletes train with elite professionals like Coach Cedric Booty of CM3, who's worked with NBA players such as Jaden Ivey and Blake Wesley, and the dynamic team of Tevin Lake and Bobo from T2 Sports Performance. Together, they've trained standout athletes including Notre Dame football stars, NFL offensive lineman Danny Piner, and Kyron Williams. In a school or neighborhood of 1,000 youth, 5 redirected lives can mean 5 future leaders, 5 families spared heartbreak, and 5 powerful stories of hope. And this is backed by research from the Money Smart Athlete Foundation, which shows that athletes have a powerful influence on youth behavior, confidence, and long-term success. We don't just build athletes, we build mentors. High school students who complete our program will become certified Mentors for Life members and will be paid to speak, lead, and coach the next generation. To support Mentors for Life, all you have to do is click here if you're on a mobile device, or click here if you're on a computer to donate or learn more. Or you can reach us directly at mentorsforlife574@gmail.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mentors for Life. Donate today and help save our youth.